Developing tonight, a major police response in Seattle where hardline Christian activists are clashing with pro-LGBTQ protesters. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Organizers dubbed tonight's demonstration the Rattle in Seattle, and it follows heated protests over this past weekend that ended with numerous arrests. Tensions are flaring as evangelicals are being met by counter-protesters who say the events are pushing bigotry. Fox 13's Lauren Donovan was in the middle of tonight's demonstration outside Seattle City Hall.
It looks like something is building here over on the left. We got a sea of protesters, the folks that are with the evangelical Christian groups rallying in what this is called the Rattle in Seattle. But over here, it appears there is a ruckus growing. So I want you to come with me. Let's see it together in real time. Everybody, as you can see over here, is congregating. And it looks like there is an altercation over here from up above. I'm going to step aside. Oh, we got photographer Mike caught here. All right, going through Mike. I'll follow you. Take a look, everyone. So it looks like SPD is out here in the middle of the street. We have bicycle cops. We have, all right, we got another shot closer to the action right now so you can take a look at it. I'm taking all this in real time. People are shouting, "Get off of him, get off of him." There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least a dozen officers armed with their bikes that I can see. And there's a number of people massed over here down on the ground. I think the vantage point that we've got here, you can see it a lot better than the vantage point I've got up here. But so many shouts. This all as the Rattle in Seattle is getting underway. This massive showing. I was told what we're seeing here tonight at Seattle City Hall would make what happened at Cal Anderson Park over the weekend look small, and boy, has it ever. There have been multiple altercations with protesters, counter-protesters, interactions like you see here, and now folks are coming right up into the faces of Seattle police. In the middle of all this action, police forming a line. We know they've got riot gear here handy. We know they have non-lethal weapons on them. So you see blast balls. We know they have pepper spray in their belts as well.
13's Lauren Donovan reporting tonight from a very tense scene in Seattle. And we're starting to see images now of police taking some people into custody near Seattle City Hall. You see one person right there in handcuffs. At least 2 people have been accused of assault and they have been arrested. It's unclear tonight exactly how many arrests have been made at those counter protests unfolding in Seattle. Also today, President Trump threatened to cut California's federal funding over the issue of transgender athletes. As Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf reports tonight, there's controversy around a Riverside County high school student who's competing at a state track and field competition.
Controversy swirling ahead of the California High School State Track and Field Championships. President Donald Trump now ordering local law enforcement to not allow a transgender athlete to compete. Jurupa Valley High School junior A.B. Hernandez won first place in this year's qualifying meets for the triple jump and long jump, now a favorite to win this week's state finals.
God made him a boy. He should be competing with the boys, not the girls.
She deserves to just live her life how she wants to live it.
Hernandez's classmates and parents at Jurupa Valley High School split on the issue.
If you're identified as a female, you should be able to just play a sport, be comfortable with.
Newsom has said it was unfair, but he knows what he's doing. He's playing the game.
It is an issue of fairness. So it's deeply unfair.
He has no intent on protecting our daughters.
Chino Valley School Board President Sonia Shaw has been trying to get President Trump to intervene.
Common sense needs to be common again, and this is a common sense issue.
The president Tuesday posting this long message to Truth Social, telling local authorities to, if necessary, not allow the trans athlete to compete this weekend. Otherwise, large-scale funding will be held back.
I say pull the funding. it's going to send the message. It's going to put some teeth into what's going on.
CIF now announcing changes ahead of the state meet, saying biological girls that might have qualified for state without the trans athlete in the mix can now also compete in the state championship. A spokesperson from California Governor Gavin Newsom's office says this proposal is a reasonable, respectful way to navigate a complex issue without compromising competitive fairness. So a whole lot of back and forth going on here. We did reach out to this athlete's family. They didn't want to speak with Fox. Reporting in Riverside County, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
A recent vote to ban transgender athletes from school sports in a Washington school district contradicts state policy. The Quilcene School Board voted 3-2 in favor of a ban on May 7th. Quilcene is a small community west of Seattle. The school board members had a tense back and forth before their vote.
It's not something that I think is pertinent or fair or moral.
I think it's, I mean, we're all welcome to it. But, Title IX is the law.
Title IX is the law. This is an interpretation. This is not the law. The law, nowhere in it says only biological males can play biological male sports by tradition. That is not in Title IX. Nowhere.
I'm probably the only one that read the whole thing in Title IX.
I read Title IX myself.
You did?
Yes.
Then you notice that
it doesn't say that.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association allows transgender students to participate in sports programs consistent with their gender identity. That policy has been in place since 2007. It's unclear whether Quilcene's ban is going to trigger a legal challenge. Federal immigration agents detained at least 4 undocumented immigrants at the San Francisco Immigration Courthouse earlier today. Attorneys say one man was arrested and he was applying for asylum at the time. We're told that many people did not show up for their hearings after word of these arrests spread throughout the community. An attorney who represents people before the immigration court called the federal action unprecedented.
Never seen anything like this before, and it's really scary for people to know that, they came here fleeing violence and persecution in their home countries from authoritarian governments.
The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement, quote, most aliens who illegally enter the United States within the past 2 years are subject to expedited removals. ICE is now following the law and placing these illegal aliens in expedited removal as they always should have been. If they have a valid, credible fear claim, they will continue in immigration proceedings. But if no valid claim is found, aliens will be subject to a swift deportation. Arizona may be reimbursed for spending $196 million to build a temporary border wall. That money would come from a GOP spending bill approved by the House of Representatives last week. The Senate still needs to pass it. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey ordered construction of that temporary border wall back in 2022. The structure was made from shipping containers. They were used to fill the gaps in border barriers near Nogales. The Biden administration then ordered its removal. Many of those containers have been sold. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, get ready for some new fees the next time you book a Southwest flight as the airline ends its popular bags fly free policy.
We're not really too happy about that because you see I got a bunch of little kids here and grown adults that we got to pay extra luggage for.
Up next tonight, Southwest lays out how much it will cost customers to check bags.
Here over San Francisco, where an intense heat wave expected to hit parts of the Bay Area as well as the West in the coming days. A better look at what we could expect coming up.
A Memorial Day driving lesson ended in tragedy for a Southern California family. Investigators say the father of a 15-year-old girl died after the car his teenager was driving went over the side of a cliff in Orange County. He was teaching the teenager how to drive in a Laguna Beach parking lot when their car went crashing through a fence and went over that hill. The vehicle rolled 40 feet down the embankment, flipping upside down onto a highway. Doctors do expect the girl, who has a driver's permit, will recover from significant injuries. It's unclear tonight exactly what caused the car to crash through the fence. Southern California lawmakers have introduced a bill in Washington, D.C. to allow inmate firefighters to go on to take jobs at fire departments. Inmates have been a significant factor in California firefighting efforts for years as part of the state's Conservation Fire Camp program. Corrections officials say they are paid between $5 and $10 an hour. Lawmakers say they want the crews to be paid minimum wage and to enjoy standard state safety protections.
All the Fire Act is saying is we want to make sure that you have OSHA protections. We want to make sure that you have equipment that is going to keep you safe, and we want to make sure that you are able to get a fair minimum wage.
The bill would also allow the inmate firefighters to have their criminal records wiped clean so they can be hired for firefighting jobs once they are released. Well, people all across the West are going to see temperatures soar later on this week. Here is a live look tonight at the Las Vegas Valley, where an extreme heat watch is already set to take effect this coming Friday. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Rosemary Orozco, who is tracking this major warm-up. Hey, Rosemary.
Yes, Alex, from California to Utah and down into the desert Southwest, it is going to be a scorcher in the coming days. Phoenix area this afternoon reporting 101. This camera here, a picture over the Glendale area. Meanwhile, in Seattle, 75 today. Seattle will continue to warm up tomorrow, and for some of these areas over the Pacific Northwest, perhaps some of the warmest temperatures so far this season, with 80 degrees the afternoon high for Portland today. 97 reported in Redding, 91 in the Sacramento area of California. Now, San Francisco, 65 this afternoon. San Francisco and parts of the West Coast going to actually have a localized sea breeze that will keep the heat from these areas. But you go inland and we have widespread advisories, including a heat advisory that covers a lot of the state of California. This is going to be the hottest day for this area on Friday, where that advisory begins at 11 a.m. and doesn't expire until about sunset. We've got a dome of high pressure that is going to be strengthening in over the parts of the West Coast. And with that, we are looking at temperatures again soaring above 100 degrees for some of those hotter spots. Here is a look at the Futurecast model, which shows you the ridge that's in place. As we get into Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, it begins to break down a little bit, but it is building back in Thursday into Friday. It takes until Saturday until it begins to break down once again. So thankfully, this hot spell, perhaps 2 to 3 days for most areas, not longer than that. Here is a look at the next few days. Again, Seattle will continue to warm up tomorrow with temperatures in the low 80s before a big drop in temperatures on Thursday and then back up on Friday. But you get into California, temperatures will be on the mild side for areas like San Francisco as well as closer to the coast in Los Angeles, when very comfortable weather expected to last throughout. But you get into the inland areas and we're talking 100-degree plus weather for inland California. Heading over towards Denver, they've got some warm weather coming in on Friday, and Phoenix, no relief here. Low 100s expected Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday, even a little bit hotter. Alex?
All right, some serious heat there. Rosemary, thank you. Many wildfire victims in Southern California say they're facing obstacles as they work to recover from that disaster. Fox's Sarah Allegre spoke with some of them about the challenges they're up against.
Backlog in reviews, inspection, agency sign-offs, that's slowing things down just a bit. But what we're seeing during this waiting period, a lot of these local organizations are stepping in to help people in need. We were there as a handful of women in the Altadena area, born and raised. They lost everything to the Eaton fire, but they're taking one small step forward.
All the houses are on fire.
Different stories, same ending.
God have mercy.
For many, Altadena wasn't just home, it was everything. That was until the Eaton fire took it all away.
It's not the material things. It takes, for me, I think a lifetime to build community. It's really, really hard. How do you get that back?
Natasha Brown is a single mom of 2. She's still waiting for a chance to buy land and rebuild.
My biggest fear as a single mom was to be homeless. And I know it's not to any fault of my own, but that was was the hardest thing for me to do.
According to the Altadena Town Council, as of last week, people have submitted 480 permit applications, yet only 10 are moving forward.
That's still my dream. I still want to live here. This is home.
But as she waits, some welcome relief. She and a few other women recently got a $10,000 grant from local grassroots groups helping single moms who lost everything in the Eaton fire. Ishelle Williams was one of them.
I lost everything that I knew to be who I am.
Ishelle rented the same home for 17 years before it burned down. But unlike most, she's rebuilding. And for the first time, the property's in her name after a county nonprofit called Neighborhood Housing Services helped Ishelle buy that land.
It is the first purchase of land in Altadena that has somebody's name on it.
It's all part of a local effort to keep Altadena in the hands of its longtime residents, not investors.
Rebuilding the home that my 11-year-old son only ever known. It's his only place. And my family will now continue this generational legacy.
As cleanup is picking up some speed, we are seeing those deadlines just around the corner for the residents who didn't opt in for county help. In doing so, well, they're going to face some serious fines if that debris isn't removed by the end of next month, June 30th. In Altadena, California, Sarah Allegre, Fox News.
Up next tonight here on West Coast Wrap, a rare look at history underwater. Tonight, the new images of World War I relics off the California coast. Plus, a popular perk for travelers is about to go away. Why bags no longer fly free on Southwest Airlines. Wall Street is coming off one of its best days in weeks. Today's jump in stock prices followed President Trump's decision to put off a deadline for imposing tariffs on imports from the European Union. On Friday, the president threatened to impose a 50% tariff on all imports from the EU beginning on June 1st. On Sunday, Trump said his original July 9th deadline would stand as the U.S. and the EU continue to work on a trade agreement. At today's closing bell, the Dow was up 740 points. That was nearly 2%. The Nasdaq topped that with gains of nearly 2.5%, up 461 points. And the S&P 500 was also up more than 2%, adding 118 points during the trading session. Colorado Senator John Hickenlooper met with local business owners earlier today to discuss the harm they say they have suffered because of the Trump administration's tariffs. Business owners say those tariffs have caused their costs to skyrocket and uncertainty is driving down business. Owners also say concerns about ICE raids are keeping some undocumented employees at home. Some small businesses in Colorado say they have had to shut down. Senator Hickenlooper encouraged those business owners to remain positive, but said he worries the uncertainty will cause the American economy to stagnate.
I think the determination, the grit, all those things that allow these small businesses to succeed, which are all the essential ingredients of why America succeeds, why we are the greatest economy in the history of the world, that's being tampered with.
The World Trade Center Consultant Group in Denver says 1 in 5 jobs in Colorado are dependent on global trade. NPR and 3 local radio stations are suing the Trump administration over its executive order to cut funding to public media. The lawsuit filed today in federal court argues that President Trump's order aimed at cutting federal funding is illegal and that slashing public subsidies violates the First Amendment. Trump issued that executive order earlier this month, alleging there is bias in the broadcaster's reporting. Well, for decades, Southwest Airlines told customers that bags fly free, but that long-standing and popular policy is coming to an end. Starting tomorrow, people buying tickets will have to pay to check their luggage. KTVU's Jesse Gary talked with travelers in the San Francisco Bay Area about whether those new fees will change their plans.
For Southwest Airlines passengers at Oakland International Airport Tuesday, something different that's about to take off is causing turbulence.
I always have to check in baggage, so now I got to pay I don't even know how much.
The airline says starting Wednesday, it'll charge flyers $35 for the first checked bag and $45 for the second. It's a departure from its decades-old promotion, Bags Fly Free. and it's going over like a lead balloon with its loyal customer base.
No, we're not really too happy about that because you see I got a bunch of little kids here and grown adults that we got to pay extra luggage for, so I'll be looking probably to go with another airline if they're going to be charging us.
Company executives say charging for checked luggage, something all other major U.S. carriers have done for decades, is now necessary post-COVID.
We're announcing changes to our business that will help us return to the levels of profitability we all expect and to support our collective long-term success.
It's like an end of an era in a way, and they had a visionary leader who made Southwest an iconoclastic airline because of its policies, and now it's abandoned all those.
Rapid Rewards A-list preferred members and flyers traveling Business Select will receive 2 free check bags. Frequent Flyer A-list members and Rapid Rewards credit card holders will be allowed 1 checked bag. Experts say the new baggage fees will generate billions in profits, but could alienate loyal flyers.
I realize they have business decisions to make for the solvency of their airline, but we also have choices to make as consumers.
Another choice that could be on the chopping block in the near future, seating. One Italian company is already touting economy travelers could stand in a saddle-type device for the flight instead of sit in comfort.
With deregulation, airlines now have the ability to charge for a variety of different things that back in the day, these were things that were part and parcel to the flying experience.
Now it's a new, more competitive experience that sees bags fly free turn to bags fly for a fee, and passengers scrambling to find an airline that'll court their cares and concerns.
I mean, we're not necessarily loyal to Southwest, so it's whoever's offering the best flight, the best deal.
This change comes in the wake of Southwest Airlines laying off 15% of its corporate workforce last month. It's the first major layoff in the 53-year history of the Dallas-based company. At Oakland International Airport, Jesse Gary, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
The Transportation Department has proposed a temporary plan to address staffing issues with air traffic control. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says air traffic controllers who are eligible for retirement have been offered a 20% bonus on their salary. That incentive is meant to keep older air traffic controllers on the job while more are hired. Duffy says it could take months or even years to fix the air traffic controller shortage, which has faced years of staffing issues, outdated technology, and a lack of funding for critical infrastructure. Finally tonight, a sunken World War I era U.S. Navy submarine has been captured on camera off the coast of San Diego more than a century after it was lost at sea. The USS F-1 was involved in a training accident in December of 1917, which killed 19 people. But with the help of advanced deep-sea technology, researchers captured this footage of the wreckage, which lies more than 1,300 feet below the ocean's surface. Researchers held a ceremony after capturing the footage to honor the crew members who died in that accident nearly 108 years ago. Remarkable to see those images from the ocean floor. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always. And a quick reminder before we go tonight, you can stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering for you across the West Coast at our website. It's westcoastwrap.com. And don't forget to stream all of our shows on your smart TV. All you have to do is download the Fox Local app. Have a great rest of your night.